Hi there everyone, how you doing? Jesse here. It is Wednesday, October the 8th, and you know what that means. It's Wednesday, it means we'll do it live tonight, the Real Alternative Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern on Red Pill Revolution. Don't miss it. Should be a bang-up show. It always is, and we really appreciate all the people that turn out for it. We try to have a record audience tonight. Come on, guys. Help us turn out and make this show into the hit it deserves to be. Now, Thomas Eric Duncan has tragically passed away today. Of course, many of you know him as Mr. Fluorescent Green Shirt, the guy that has only one shirt in his wardrobe, which is this fluorescent neon green, of course, which is all by design. It's there to program your mind that this guy is toxic. And, of course, he is the very first American to be diagnosed. He's not even American, by the way. He's from Guinea or whatever. He's the very first person to be diagnosed on American soil as having Ebola. And so the saga continues. This could have been seen from many miles away, of course. This is how they build it up. So I want to play some of the Canadian media here. This is off CTV News. My health. Oh, my health. Is it your health? Is it the health of the news? Or is it my health? I don't know. Somebody's health. Hey, there's some fruit. There's somebody with a jogging shoes on and new age fucking meditation. They got your mind control here. So let's listen in and break down what the corporate media here is trying to program us with, as usual.
Joining me from outside the hospital in Dallas is NBC's Chris Pallone. Chris, thank you for joining with us. Can we talk about what the hospital is saying about this case? Of course, the first person to die in the United States.
Aaron, about 40 minutes ago, the hospital released a statement, very brief in nature. It offered sympathy to the family and friends of Thomas Duncan. It announced that he passed away at 7:51 local time this morning, and it said that Duncan had fought the Ebola virus courageously before succumbing to it this morning.
What have we heard, perhaps from friends or his girlfriend, Thomas Eric Duncan? Have we heard anything yet?
No, not yet. This news is still fresh. Word only was released publicly about an hour, a little more than an hour ago. So this is a story that's still developing, and I'm sure that we will hear from Duncan's family at some point today. They've been very...
Of course they're going to come on camera today. That's what crisis actors do. That's what these people do. What do you think Jesse Jackson is there? Right? Making the rounds. Oh, look at Glum. Look at the long face he's put on him. He's a fucking actor. This bald douchebag is an actor. They're all fucking stinking scumbag actors. That's what they are, Mr. Green Shirt. We never even saw you. We never even got to know you, Mr. Green Shirt. Who is Mr. Green Shirt? Who is Thomas Eric Duncan? Or Eric Duncan? Or is it Thomas Duncan? I don't know. They change it every day. Just like ISIS, ISIL, IS, whatever they want to call it next week. Right? They change the story, they drive home the fear, and they put in the programming. And wouldn't you know it, the family is going to come out and give interviews today. I guarantee you. If it ain't today, it'll be tomorrow. And there won't be any tears, but there will be a lot of talk about how he courageously fought Ebola. You are being mind controlled by these psychopaths in the corporate media. Let's continue.
Open with the media yesterday. They had hoped to visit with Duncan, but obviously it was too dangerous for them to go inside the room or be able to see him. They were somewhat optimistic. His nephew said that his fever had gone away, which is certainly curious, but he did remain in critical condition on dialysis and a ventilator up until the point that he died this morning.
Right, and I understand then that it was a multi-organ failure that led to his death. What more can you tell us precisely about that?
Where's the green shirt?
That's how these things go, if it is to go in this situation. You know, it comes as somewhat of a surprise since the United States has been fairly successful in treating other patients. You might remember 2 other doctors were brought from Liberia.
Bullshit.
And treated here in the United States and are doing quite well. As a matter of fact, yesterday, the first man who was brought from Liberia, Dr. Kent Brantley, was called as he was driving to Texas, and he was asked to pull over and give blood because his blood type matches the other Ebola patient, Ashoka Mukpo, who was being treated in Omaha, Nebraska. So Brantley gave blood, and that blood is being brought to Omaha, where we transfused into Mukpo today in hopes that the antibodies that Brantley developed will be able to help him fight the disease. So obviously a sad situation here, and a somewhat surprising one given the success which the other patients who have contracted Ebola have done here in the United States.
But as I understand, Thomas Eric Duncan was not receiving that particular type of treatment. He had a different type of experimental drug.
There you go. Yeah.
That's right.
Didn't work. Princeton
Duncan received an experimental antiviral drug,
ZMapp.
but at this point, Duncan had not received any sort of blood transfusion.
We're all out of it.
Okay, thanks very much for joining with us. That is NBC's Chris Malone. Thank you.
Isn't it funny, too? They're all out of ZMapp. How does that happen? What, was there, a huge stampede for all these people to get ZMapp? I don't know. It's just such fucking bullshit, right? Of course, they're setting it up like that. They're saying, well, they tried the brinzenthalfovir drug and it didn't work. Of course, the African, the black guy dies. The white man, the guy with the cape there, Kent Brantley, the guy that never had Ebola, the actor, and Nancy Wright, Ebola, right? That whole scenario, of course, I've broken down. That should have hundreds of thousands of views, but it's only got about 20,000, really. But we're trying to show that this is all fake, this is all staged, these people are all actors, and this is all bullshit. Who the hell is Thomas Eric Duncan? Trying to figure this out, looking all over. Jim Stone did some work on this, found out that, got his page here, his LinkedIn page here, and it's pretty interesting who he was or is or isn't or whatever. You see here, his current status was Director of Management and Operations Overseas at the Peace Corps. Yes, go and figure, right? Past Director of Management and Operations Overseas at the Peace Corps. And then District AIDS Coordinator at the Peace Corps. And then get this one, the kicker. Senior Vice President, Market Executive Business Banking at Bank of America. 172 connections, a very colorful history involved in government agencies and banks, which are pretty much one and the same, since the banks run the countries, right? Senior Vice President, Market Executive Business Banking, Bank of America. Senior Vice President, Market Executive Business Banking, Bank of America, right? If this is him, right? Botswana, Ministry of Government, District AIDS Coordinator. So this guy, look at his history here. It's quite something. So, really? You really believe this is the first guy, right, that had some... That came down with Ebola? You really believe that shit? I don't believe it for a minute. I think you're all being played, and this is just the latest fear porn, mind control, and of course, they're bringing in stricter things. They're going to be now screening everybody at the airports. They're going to be watching everything. They're going to be more, as they announced on CNN last night, how they need to adopt the same strategy, of course, that they're using against ISIS, because it's exactly the same threat. It's the same threat. If it isn't the terrorist, in the burqa, with the AK-47, it's the black guy in the fluorescent green shirt. You can't make this shit up. Who worked at bank, was a senior director at Bank of America, and one of the top guys in the Peace Corps for the United States for all these years. And he only has one shirt in his entire wardrobe. If you buy this shit, you're stupid. There's nothing else to it.